at the Armory here at Pop-Up Crop, courtesy of Tranter Gray. We're super stoked that they sent us out here to cover all these hot seats.
Absolutely.
And to sit here in the, what we need to name this something.
We will.
The bomb shelter.
The cove?
The fallout shelter, yeah. But it's like the coolest, hippest fallout shelter that you've ever experienced, I would imagine. But we're sitting here with our new friend, Nick Longo. Nick, welcome to the show,
Thanks.
my friend.
Great to be here, man. Thank you guys. It's fantastic.
Why don't you do us a quick favor, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, and then we'll
Great.
jump into some other things.
Sure. I'm Los Angeles based, run a little agency called Longo Designs. We do branding specifically for food, restaurant, beverage. Kind of a fun little niche to be in when it comes to that. As well, I'm a part-time design instructor at Cal State Northridge in Los Angeles. Do 2 different podcasts as well, all about kind of just spreading the word, helping young designers kind of figure out, is freelance their thing, is agency their world, giving them every possible situation to figure out, what's best for them.
Great. So it sounds like you have no free time.
0.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is vacation.
So tell
Creative conferences.
doing
You
more
guys know
research and
exactly
networking
what
for
I'm
work.
talking about.
You put in, so we're asking people like a unique thing about them. The thing you mentioned is being a forever student. So what does that mean to you?
Gosh, it depends on what you're into, what you want to do, but to me, it's about just coming to conferences, learning from people half your age, double your age, whatever it is, and figuring out this idea that you'll never have it. You'll never have it made. There's always something to learn. There's every day there's new technology coming out to figure out what to do and make your world better when it comes to running your design business or being a design individual as your career. So for me, it's just about that. And then teaching makes me realize too, I got to practice what I preach. Yeah. I can't just do that or do something, give advice on a podcast and not kind of know that, hey, that's something maybe I should be thinking about too.
Yeah. What did you do before you decided to be a designer?
Wow. You mean like before, like
I mean,
odd jobs?
Is this something like when you were like 3 years old,
Dude,
you were like,
knew
man,
it.
I'm a
I
designer.
knew it. My dad was an architect, so I got to see that he had a creative job that was also a career, and you can make a living out of it. And so once I saw logos and I saw this idea that what graphic design is, it was the trigger that said, that's all I know what to do. I mean, I can think of logos back when I was 3, and you saw what brands look like when you got a toy. You knew what that meant. Right. And so when I discovered that was the job, I didn't even know it had a name until, I saw it in school.
Yeah. So you have, so you said that you have a podcast where you help kind of guide and steer people.
Correct.
Do you give advice or do you just present all the different platforms and let them make their
Probably
decision?
a little bit of both. And then we bring in a lot of great guests as well that are more specialized in maybe a particular area. But when it comes to making transition into freelance or getting a promotion or whatever it is, I can usually give good experience or good examples back from my times when that happened for me, which is great too. So trying to give them that. But you're right, it's also keeping it open because everybody's story is totally different.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it would be hard to kind of be in that industry and have a cookie cutter way of doing
there
things.
is no. And that's why you got to come to places like this and you got to go to these design community things anywhere in your town or part of the country because you can see that there's no one way around this.
Right.
Absolutely.
There is none.
All right. So on that note, we're going to play a quick game.
Let's do it.
Because there is one way to do this next thing. All right. So
nice.
We are the Master of One podcast.
Yes.
We each represent a master of one of our own areas. So art and design, TV and film, toys and games.
Yes.
You're going to be the master of one of these categories for the next few minutes.
Okay.
All right. So
Let's do
anything
this.
you tell us is going to be good.
Good.
And we can't argue with it because you're the master
Awesome.
of it. Go ahead and draw one and flip it over and let us know what you are.
Books.
All right.
Okay.
So
Master of
something,
books.
anything. It could be latest book you read, favorite books related to authors, film adaptations from books, just something book related.
A book, I have the best book, and it was actually recommended to me by a young designer. I had never heard of it, but it's called The Architects of Branding. And this thing has become my go-to book and resource with every new client in getting them set up, starting a brand. It's just like a wealth of knowledge when it comes to that. And it makes you think of a brand as just as much of a personality as a person.
Yeah. Sure.
And breaking it down into who they are, what's going to make a consumer for that brand tick, what's going to gravitate to them, and it just does, it's fantastic. So
architecture in the sense of setting the structure, not so much in the build, like the format of it.
There's so much to do before you even touch a single design. You got to figure out DNA, you got to figure out personality of that brand, and give it, like one of the archetypes that's a great one on this brewery that we just designed, we called them, they're pioneering. because everything about their spirit is pioneering, meaning they want to be first to this, they want to be first to a certain style or a vibe.
Sure.
So everything we do, even in the copy that we write and everything, it's all under that umbrella of them being a very pioneering personality.
Yeah.
And it works. And and then the client goes, everything makes sense.
Yeah. You're cultivating this story,
Totally.
and you're shaping the story. So, as the master of books,
Yes,
and
okay.
you're also like so ingrained in the world of kind of helping the people take their next step or go to the next level, whatever it is. What are if you were sending a new designer, someone who's brand new to the space, and they say, hey, I want to get started in this. What are 2 or 3 books that you would recommend?
Oh wow.
What's that package you give to them? Like,
Perfect.
here's your starter set.
I would say there's 2 for me, and this is so odd because I am not a book guy. Couldn't have picked a
It's
worse
weird that
topic.
you pick Master of Books then.
Yeah,
That's
I know,
on you.
But I know, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, side note, I am. Oh, I forgot. I am the master of books. 2, when it comes to just time management, understanding how crazy your world can be and whatever, I'm a big fan of Tim Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's just so many great little nuggets. And even his other one, Titans, I forget the name, is more of a book that you can look at a specific topic and get insight from people that are stellar at their career or whatever their specialty is. What it taught me and what it gives young kids, specifically like coming out of design school and going into the real world, is that idea of how to make sense of every hour of your day.
Sure.
And not be so robotic, but to figure things out and just know that there's a place and a time and you could be super efficient with your time.
Right.
Shouldn't be wasting it. And employers and people, your bosses, will appreciate that in you if you bring that.
Yeah, absolutely.
The second one for me was a book. It was the hardest read I've ever had, but it was called The New Earth. And it's all about the ego.
Okay.
And I think creatives have to learn that more than anything. Like this book, it just shatters your entire idea of why we get these egos and why we have this ability to want to be like, stand out and be the best and whatever, and it really just kind of neutralizes that idea. And I know a lot of overly sensitive creatives that are artists by trait, but have to be in a commerce business.
Yeah.
And there's a certain amount you just got to figure, man, just be humble.
Yeah.
Lose that ego. Nobody likes an oversensitive creative to work with.
Absolutely.
So.
Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can
Yeah.
follow you, they can subscribe to your podcast. All that
Please,
stuff.
that would be great. It's longodesigns.com is everything there, and it's Longo Designs on Instagram. The 2 podcasts, the first one is the Deeply Graphic Design Cast. We talk all about design when it comes to young design students.
Okay.
And I just started a second one with my buddy Jordan Wilson, who's based here in Portland. It's called The Creative Course, and we're doing it Netflix style, where we are doing 6 to 7 segments of a particular course, and we're dropping them all at once.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
that way you can do it and binge it and have fun with it.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for taking a minute to chat with us. I
Awesome,
hope
man.
your
My pleasure,
pop-up
man.
crop is incredible and you take so much away.
Killer. I already am. Thanks, man.
Sweet.
All
Thanks.
right. Awesome.